Who joins the viewers at the end? The veteran himself, standing proud beside the dog that started it all, but not before a storm of tears, anger, and unexpected brotherhood swept through a quiet cafe in Charleston. It all began on a slow Tuesday morning at Pearl's Café, a small, cozy corner spot nestled between a dusty antique bookstore and a faded barbershop on King Street. It was the kind of place where time seemed to slow down, where regulars knew the names of the waitstaff, and where kindness wasn't a rule, it was just how things were. Emily James had been working at Pearl's for 3 years. She wasn't just a waitress, she was the heart of the place. She knew the regulars by name, remembered their orders, asked about their kids and grandkids, and always wore a smile that could warm even the most hardened soul. At 26, Emily was still trying to piece her life together after a string of personal losses. Her mother's passing, a broken engagement, and the dream of becoming a nurse that she had to shelve after dropping out of school to care for her younger brother. That Tuesday started like any other. The sun filtered in through the lace curtains, and the smell of cinnamon rolls and fresh coffee hung in the air. Emily was taking an order from an elderly couple when the bell over the door jingled. In walked a man with a service dog, a golden retriever with a blue vest and tired eyes. The man looked just as weary. He had a military bearing, even in civilian clothes, but his limp and the distant look in his eyes told stories no one had heard yet. Emily noticed how the other patrons turned their heads subtly, watching. Some with curiosity. Others with quiet judgment. Service dogs were allowed, of course, but the dog looked distressed. It limped slightly, its paw bleeding from a cut. The man sat at the far booth, his eyes scanning the menu without really reading it. Emily walked over, heart already aching. "Can I get you something, sir?" He looked up. His eyes were bloodshot, his expression guarded. "Just coffee. For now. Please." Emily glanced at the dog. "I'm sorry, but, your dog's paw. It's bleeding. Can I help?" The man hesitated. "It's fine." But Emily wasn't one to let things be when someone, or something, was hurting. She ran to the back, grabbed the first aid kit, and gently knelt by the dog. "Hey, buddy," she whispered, soothingly. "Let me fix you up." The dog wagged its tail weakly. The veteran watched her in silence, 1,000 unspoken words in his eyes. Minutes passed. She cleaned the wound, wrapped the paw in gauze, and gave the dog a bowl of cold water. "You didn't have to do that," the man finally said. "Most people just pretend not to see." Emily smiled. "He's a hero, right? Just like you. Heroes don't go unnoticed here." But not everyone in Pearl's Café felt the same. Her manager, Mr. Rudd. A thin, balding man in his 50s who cared more about profits than people, had been watching from the kitchen window. He stormed out, red-faced and furious. "Emily! What in God's name are you doing? This is a cafe, not a clinic. You're holding up orders and making customers uncomfortable." She stood up, startled. "His service dog was bleeding, Mr. Rudd. I couldn't just ignore it." "I don't care. That's not your job. You're fired." The word hit her like a slap. Silence fell over the cafe. The veteran stood, anger flaring in his eyes. "You're firing her, for helping?" he asked, voice low and dangerous. She disrupted the workflow. "Customers are complaining." "That's final," Rudd snapped, before turning back toward the kitchen. Emily's hands shook as she untied her apron. "It's okay," she whispered, mostly to herself. "It's just a job." But someone had heard. The door flew open with a gust of warm air, and in walked 3 men in uniform. Marines. They didn't need introductions. They had the posture, the presence. They walked like men who had carried each other through hell and back. The veteran, whose name was Thomas Hayes, stood straighter. His eyes widened. One of the Marines embraced him. "Tommy, you old ghost. Heard you were in town." They looked around. "Heard someone here fired the angel who patched up Tom's dog?" Emily blinked in confusion. One of them approached her. "You're Emily? You helped Max?" She nodded slowly. He grinned. "Then you helped all of us. That dog saved Tom during a suicide bombing in Kandahar. Without Max, he wouldn't be here. And without you, Max might have gotten worse." The cafe was frozen. The regulars watched in stunned silence. Then one of the Marines turned to Mr. Rudd. "So, you fired her?" Rudd's arrogance flickered. She was interfering. "Shut it," the Marine barked, his voice cutting through the air like a blade. Then, something incredible happened. The Marines pulled out their phones. They filmed Emily. They told the story, of kindness, of sacrifice, of doing the right thing even when no one else does. They posted it online. Within hours, the video went viral. By evening, Emily was trending on social media. Messages poured in, veterans thanking her, people sharing stories, local businesses offering her jobs, scholarships, even donations to finish nursing school. But the best moment came the next morning. A black SUV pulled up outside her apartment. Out stepped Thomas Hayes, Max beside him, paw bandaged but tail wagging. "I never said thank you properly," he said. "But I wanted to say more than that." He handed her an envelope. Inside was a letter, from the Department of Veterans Affairs. Thomas had pulled every string he had. She had been awarded a scholarship, fully funded, to finish her nursing degree. "People like you," he said, "need to be on the front lines, not of war, but of healing." Tears streamed down Emily's cheeks. And standing behind him? The three Marines. Smiling. Saluting. By the end of the video, the camera pans out. Emily stands outside Pearl's Café, not as a waitress, but as the founder of a new nonprofit, Max's Mission, an organization that provides medical support and aid to service dogs and their owners. And next to her, proudly wagging his tail, is Max. The message is clear: one act of kindness can ripple across lives. In a world where so many turn away, be the one who kneels down and helps, even if it costs you everything. Because sometimes, what feels like the end, is just the beginning.